Join us today for another BattleTech book review, Icons of War by Craig A. Reed Jr. Welcome back to those of you who've been here before. Welcome to those of you who are new to the channel. It's another BattleTech book review. Today, Icons of War by Craig A. Reed Jr. And you'll note, with a little icon here, this is during the Jihad era. Although that has basically nothing at all to do with the book, because if you read the Wars of Reaving source book, which you should, it's one of the better written source books, and it's pretty spectacular if you want to know about the possible end of the clans in clan space. This happens during the events of that book. It's a source book, not a novel. This book is essentially where Clan Wolf enacts another portion of their plan to extract all of their stuff from clan space. Because the Wars of Reaving are essentially whenever the homeworld clans decided that the clans that had made contact with the Inner Sphere were tainted and could no longer be trusted and should be destroyed. So the smart ones were like, well guys, sounds like it's time to get while the getting's good. So they proceeded to do so. Clan Wolf decided to go out with a bang.
Literally.
Once they took all their stuff from the genetic repository, they blew it up.
And then they loaded everything else they could up on their ships and
skedaddled. Oh, yeah, I don't know. That already happened. Those guys were on a suicide mission.
Oh, but congratulations, folks.
Yeah, they knew they weren't coming back. So, this book is about them getting another little trophy to take with them. And, yeah, it's definitely meant as a big middle finger to the rest of the clans.
What trophy?
I will explain that. I suppose I can explain it here. How's the plot of the book? They're after the McKenna's Pride,
Which is
a battleship that is in geosynchronous orbit over the main city on Stronamecti, the clan homeworld. And it's significant because on board the ship is Alexander Kerensky's body in like a glass coffin. You know, like how they've done like Stalin and Lenin in Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, kind of a big deal. So, yeah. So that's about as much as I can say without spoilers. These aren't heavy spoilers, in fact, for this one. But just in case, here we go into the spoiler zone. Not to be confused with the song Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins. Not that you could, but just in case. So, basically, there's several Clan Wolf soldiers are left behind, undercover. And they ultimately have to work with members of the Dark Caste. And a few of them are kind of against that at first, like, oh, Dark Caste, you know. They're like, hey, look, do you think members of the other clans are going to help us here? Like, of course you're going to have to work with the Dark Caste. And so you get to see some of the Dark Caste in action and some of like the criminal underworld that exists on the clan worlds, because it exists everywhere. It's human nature. So you do see some of that. I think some of them actually leave with them to go to the Inner Sphere, if I recall correctly. But ultimately, they have to make their big move, take the ship, which they do succeed in doing. And there's a kind of tense battle towards the end, but it's one of those like you can't beat math kind of battles. And they've got enough of a lead that the others can't possibly catch up. They do have to like hot charge the jump drive though, and they explain like the ins and outs of that, and like that is a real concern if you really don't want to do that if you don't have to.
Let me guess, the risk of overcharging and blowing everything up is great.
I don't even know if it overcharges, just the risk of blowing it up.
Oh,
is great.
Like if you charge a battery too quickly.
Yeah, I think that's the general idea.
Cool.
So, and then they got to make a series of jumps, and then it cuts to the final scene. Because like I said, they do bake it. And the guy who leads the assault and everything and the whole plan is still alive for the final scene, which... should make note of this. Is July 19th, 3147. And he's actually the Sacon of Clan Wolf at that point, I do believe. Garner Karinsky is his name. And yeah, so they go to where they hid the ship to take it out of mothballs to get it ready to use for the invasion of Terra.
Wait, why'd they hide it?
Because they knew if the other clans knew they had it, they would fight them for it, because it's obviously a prize.
Yeah.
So hide it somewhere in a dead system or something, and then no one knows to even look for it. You know, because what's better than putting the needle in the haystack, burying the needle somewhere no one even knows to look. Let them waste their time in the haystack. Because the homeworld clans didn't like send a signal like, hey guys, I know we're not on good terms, but you know, Clan Wolf screwed us all here. They're just sitting there impotently shaking their fist in rage.
Ah,
you know,
the rage fist.
So, yeah, it's a good book. It's a little backstory to a little tidbit as you lead up to the Hour of the Wolf book where Clan Wolf does their thing. Yeah, a lot of clan stuff. Like I said, get to see some of the dark cast in action. But you know, overall, and it's a fairly short book too. You know, but I thought it was a good read. Again, I'm a sucker for the clan stuff. What can I say? Even though they're objectively evil and awful, but you know, whatever. They use American English though, and American football, and occasionally settle things with a coin toss. So, you know, any kind of contest works.
How is a coin toss a battle of skill?
It's not. What they acknowledge that not everything's a matter of skill. Like they do acknowledge that there is some level of luck in any fight. So, but anyway, yeah, that's about it on this one. Like I said, it's pretty thin book. So, but it's almost all entirely in clan space. There's a couple big battles in the book. That is a rough idea of what the battleships look like, warships. Now, unlike I mentioned that they had to charge the drive, the drop ships that typically are used in a planetary invasion, which would be like this one you see coming in here, the more spherical looking one. Technical problems, folks.
That's alright, I've been playing with the other one over here, so...
So those kind of ships, drop ships, are not equipped with their own jump drive. So I think it's three is the maximum, latch onto a jump ship, which has a jump drive. Well, warships have their own jump drives.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, large enough warships have their own HPGs on them. So also the warships are loaded up with all kinds of nuclear weapons, because that's what you use in space combat against other gigantic ships.
Rasselhag Dominion must have 3 battleships with their own, whatever the
hyperpulse generators?
Yeah, HPG thing is.
I would say there's an excellent chance that the Leviathan class ships have them.
Yeah.
Without looking it up.
Which, last I knew, they were on the 3rd one of those.
Yeah, as far as I know, the Leviathan should be big enough to have one of its own. The only thing that might be holding them back is they might not be able to build them that work at the moment because of the whole system being fried right now.
Well, the whole system's not fried.
Well, the whole system's not fried, but they haven't seemed to have been able to build new ones, so that work. So whatever's doing it is also affecting the other ones. Now that could be because it was Comstar and because their components were coming from regions that were affected by it. So there's all kinds of what ifs. So I wouldn't discount them functioning. I'm just saying I don't know if they do. So anyway, hopefully we'll be hearing from the Ghost Bears soon. Hopefully they'll come to kick the dragon's teeth in, but you know.
Hopefully they'll come to kick a bunch of teeth in.
Yeah. Well, don't.
Except for Steiner.
I was gonna say don't get too excited. You're forgetting where their other neighbors are.
Yeah, not Steiner. I meant like Rita and everyone that way.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It'll probably be a pincer move with Clan Snow Raven if they do, though, because Snow Raven's like on the other border with Kurita.
There we go.
So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But anyway, like I said, folks, that's a good book. I haven't come across any bad BattleTech books. They're all, in my opinion, worth reading if you want to know about the setting. Some are better than others, but a lot of that's back in the WizKids era, where quality was a little more up and down. And there is a trilogy that I never read that I heard was god awful, but I never read it, so I can't tell you for sure.
What trilogy?
I want to say it's called the Proving Grounds trilogy, but I could be mistaken in that. Tell you what, Chad, if you give me just a moment, I will possibly be able to figure this out. Folks, I'm probably going to edit out this delay, but in case I don't, sorry.
So, out of curiosity, Bobbie, how many of the BattleTech books have been made into audiobooks?
That I don't know.
Because I am working my way through one book series right now. And
yes, it is the Proving Grounds trilogy. Yeah. Like I said, I have heard it's like quite terrible, but I have not read it, so I don't know that for a certainty. In fact, there are 3 of the only like 4 or 5 of the WizKids books I didn't read. I read every one of them after them. So those were also of mixed quality till you get to like By Temptations and By War. Then from then on, they're like good to increasing quality. And by the very end, they're really good. So anyway, that's about all I've got to say about that one. Jed, questions, comments?
So this is about Clan Wolf stealing a warship
Yes,
that they then mothball and hide,
that's correct.
presumably with Kerensky's body still on it.
Yes.
And then they have to unmothball it for the Battle for Terra.
Yeah.
Because why take Terra without McKenna's Pride if you have it on hand?
Yeah.
Or was it a sort of, we need all the resources we can get? Not a, hey, we have this, we're using it.
I think it was more the symbolic bringing Alexander Kerensky back to the world he was born on.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
I believe that was the point. Because old Ulrich needed as many like symbolic elements to his victory as he could get his hands on, since he's not legitimately a Clan Wolf guy.
But wasn't he made by Clan Wolf?
By them, but as far as I know, his genetics are entirely Steiner-Davian genetics.
But
unless they mixed a third donor in there, which would be one of the
Kerensky.
wards. No, it's not Kerensky. It's Vlad Ward, I believe. At least that's what they say.
I mean,
so
the clans have fought Inner people to try and get their genetics before. So why would it be different?
What do you mean?
Well, if they're given the DNA, why is it different?
Because these 2 particular people are not members of Clan Wolf.
If you fight someone to get a genetic sample
They did
to put into your genetic repository,
they did.
that person's not part of clan society.
They did not.
No, someone willingly gave them the DNA. So what's the issue?
Someone who's not part of Clan Wolf. Okay, like if they fight, like let's say they fight Clan Jade Falcon.
Yeah.
Okay, and take a Nikolai Malthus's DNA for whatever reason. Some of you folks will get that. Some of you,
they wouldn't go for him.
Some of you need to watch the BattleTech cartoon so you'll
He got embroiled in a lawsuit that he lost.
Yeah, but let's just say for whatever reason they're like, man, we got to have that Malthus DNA. So they fight. They get his DNA. Okay, then they combine it with
Adam Steiner's DNA.
No, they would combine it with a DNA from a member of Clan Wolf. Like, they don't just clone Nikolai Malthus. They take his DNA and combine it with someone that they already have. So the resultant member will have Clan Wolf DNA in it. I'm saying both strands. Neither one was from the clan.
I would like to point out, isn't it the moment they get Nicholas Malfoy's DNA for their genetic repository, that DNA is then Clan Wolf DNA?
I mean, in terms of ownership, yes. But in terms of, was it from a member of the clan? No. And I'm saying I don't know if there's a distinction there. There might not be.
I don't think there would be.
Well, get back to me once you read some more of these books. But I think that there is. Okay? Because, again, it comes down to neither donor. It'd be like if they took Nikolai Malthus's DNA and Adam Steiner. Okay?
By the way, folks, if you don't know why that's hilarious to me, go watch the cartoon.
Yeah. You know, and it's like, well, yes, you own it, but neither one is a member of Clan Wolf. So the resultant person will be a member of Clan Wolf, but they won't be a member of Clan Wolf. They're like an adopted kid, okay? Which, you know, like, you can love them and care for them as if they were your own, like a lot of adopted parents do, but genetically, they're not your child. You know, genetically, that person is not a member of Clan Wolf, is what I'm trying to tell you.
That just don't make sense to me.
What, you're dealing with a stupid warrior honor culture. None of it makes sense. They're lucky they haven't destroyed themselves well before they ever invaded the inner sphere. So what I'm saying is, since both of them were someone else that wasn't part of the clan, you know, especially since they didn't fight Victor Steiner Davian for his DNA.
And Melissa Steiner Davian just sort of handed it over.
Yeah, to make a kid for her. So yeah, like I said though, I think there is another donor, but I don't know how that works with 3 donors. Like,
just slice more DNA in. Duh.
Yeah, but that shouldn't work. This isn't like making Serpentor, okay?
Maybe he is the BattleTech version of Serpentor.
Which Serpentor shouldn't have worked either.
Hey.
Okay, because what you should have had to have done is paired up all the DNAs in Serpentor, combine them, then combine those result ones until you're down to one single DNA.
Maybe that's what they did.
Yeah, I don't think so. Dr. Mindbender's rather pedestrian.
No, I meant for
could never have handled
Alaric
that.
Ward.
I mean, maybe it's all, you know, future super science, maybe. But I'm just saying, I don't know that there even is the Clan Wolf DNA in there. I think they just gave him the last name and claimed that it was in there. I don't know. I think he's a Mary Sue character person, so I don't like him. You know, as far as I'm concerned, he could be Nikolai Malthus' spawn, but you know, he's not. Anyway, we've gone wildly off track here. So
Yes, we have.
folks, comments, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Twitter account, you know the deal. But in the meantime, remember, no guts, no galaxy. That's the BattleTech thing.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
That's the BattleTech saying?
Yeah.
No guts, no galaxy?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No! That's horrible.
Why do you think I never use it?